All right, so how do you improve your own trading skills without losing any money? All right, this is going to be a really simple tutorial on how you can improve those skills without losing any money, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do it. The first one, the most basic that anybody can do. The second one, if you want to take that up to another level, and then from there, if you want to go any further than that, I would suggest that you subscribe to our channel, click that like button, because then when we put up the additional trainings for that, they will be obviously available to you, and you'll know that right away. So, but you need to make sure you subscribe, and if you don't know how to turn on notifications, then do that. So let's get right to it. First of all, I would recommend using a tool something like this as this trading view. It is a powerful tool. You can use the paid version, you can use the free version. Either way, you set up an account. We'll leave the link under this video. And it is the affiliate link, of course, if you have any, it allows us to be able to continue to put a lot of these videos together for you or for anybody else that wants to do them. So, or that wants to learn how to do this. All right, so that being said, if you're looking at a chart, and I'm going to walk you through, we just picked Apple. You go right in here, you click Apple or Facebook, whatever you want. Facebook, we're just going to say Apple for this one, just because it's a stock that's pretty popular. And there's a lot of tools in here. If you want more tutorials on how to use all these tools, we'd be happy to share some of those with you, and you'll see a lot of those in the channel. That's why subscribing would be a good thing. But I'm going to walk through and show you a couple little tools here that may be very helpful to you as you are doing this. Now, the easiest way to do this if you're just starting out, is to learn how to use some of these little basic tools and put in some trades that you would go into. So you can see whether your predictions are accurate or not, because that skill is, if you're trading without doing some sort of either technical or fundamental analysis, it is going to be very difficult. Trading off of like social media and things of that nature, you got to be at a whole different level of understanding where, how a project is working, or how the inner workings of a stock, or to have some sort of technical analysis ability to be able to really get a better feel. So let's go into assuming that we're just starting out and saying, hey, how do I do this? Well, let's say you know nothing. You're just barely starting out. You say, I think this is going to go up. If you have the free version of this, you can go into this section right here and click on a long position. If you're going to trade, if you're thinking of trading X amount of money on an upward position. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go invest off of this, okay? Be very clear. You read the disclaimer, and this is just for entertainment, educational purpose only. But let's say we want to do that. And I say, you know what? I think that once this thing finishes going all this up and down kind of stuff, then I can probably manage to get in. Maybe it comes back a little bit, maybe around here. And you see this thing that shows this green part and this red part. Well, this green and red part is green. Obviously, you're in profit. Red, you are not in profit and you're losing money. What you can do is you can actually drag this up and down to where you think this is going to get to. Let's say, for example, I want it to get to here, and I'm willing to lose because every trade has a potential to lose. So therefore, you put out what many people would put. I would put my stop loss maybe right around here. So if it goes below this level, then I would be out of the trade and I would have lost a certain percentage of money. So in this case, 11.51%. If it hits this target first, right up here, then I probably would be out, and I would win out, and I would be at 27% roughly of whatever I put in. So this makes it super easy to be able to do that. Now here's where it gets, where you want to make sure that you actually stick with it. Okay, don't go changing this depending on how this thing moves. No. The point is for you to improve your skills so that you can get to a point where you feel confident about your abilities, and from then being able to get to consistently end up hitting the green one before you hit the red. Okay, now the nice thing about this is that there's also shorting, which means that if a stock is going down, there are ways to short it. And even though you wouldn't necessarily be putting the money in, you could still predict and see how often you get them right and how effective you are at that. So what you would do is I put this in here. There's two ways to do it. I can either expand this, I can either drag it up and down, or I can double click inside of it and I can go to the inputs. I'm not going to mess too much with this right now because it's a little bit more then I want you to be able to, if you're just starting out, I want to keep it simple. Let's say you decide to enter this exactly at $130. So that's your entry price. And you are going to try to hit a price of, let's say 170, just to round it off because you want to get there. And then on the losing amount, you would maximum go down to the 115. Okay. So you're taking a 30% chance of winning. You want 30% that you'd get on your investment, and challenging that to, if you get that first, then you get that. If you lose, means if it touches down here first, then you would get 11.54% loss of whatever you put in. Whichever hits first is the one that would win. Okay, so now you let this thing, you leave it alone, you walk away, you go about your business, you go about life, whatever. And then from there, you can actually come back and see, go, oh, did this end up? I'm going to move this over here, pretending that's where I put it in. Okay. So you could see if it actually hit the green first. Or let's say that in the case, let's say you had thought that it was going to go, maybe enter somewhere in there. If it hits the red first, then you'd lose. Right. So you want to make sure that you determine where you want to put it. Let me get it back to where it was. And then forward trading, meaning waiting for it to actually develop without you knowing what the outcome is going to be. It's one of the best ways to practice without losing any money. There's a lot of people who will go, look, I just go back over here and I'll just, see, I would have done this, I would have done that. Yeah, well, emotions get involved and people don't stick to their plan. And that's when a lot of times they end up losing money. The majority, as a matter of fact, that's when they end up losing money. Because institutions, when they call the smart money, they know already where they're going to go in. They already know where they're going to get out. And they have a plan, and they stick to that plan to make sure that it continues to give them the returns that they're looking for. So when you get to that point, then you're amazing, and you feel confident about that. Then you can go ahead and start thinking about, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm getting pretty good at this. You can decide what you want to do there. Okay. So I promised you that would be one way. So this is a really, really simple way. Now, if you end up with a paid version of this, then of TradingView, it allows you to do something a little different. For example, I can click on this replay button and I can decide somewhere. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to click that. And I can even, now that I have that, I know that this is going to replay because I want to practice my skills. And let's say I want to drop this to a 4-hour chart. Okay, I rewound it. So I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to drop down first, going to go up first. I honestly don't. As an overall, I kind of saw that it's going to go up. So eventually we'll get there. But in the smaller time frames, I'm not so sure. So I need to start making some decisions going, okay, how far do I think this might go? And am I going to be right? So this is a really, really easy way to be able to go, okay, let me test myself. So on this particular one, I'm going to do a rough little quick analysis on this and say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to make a little trend line here. Now you can start playing with all the toys they have there. And I'm going to say, as long as it doesn't drop below that, I'm going to stay in a trade. I'm going to try to get in right around here as it's starting to go up. The risk that I'm willing to take is up to maybe there. So I'm willing to take about a 10% loss. And I'm going to try to get to this top right here. Okay. I'm going to not take a very aggressive run on this. And I'm going to just play it and see what happens. Okay. I could have gone a little tighter. I said, if it breaks below here, I want to get out maybe there. But I'm going to go ahead and stick to what I said. And once I've set my plan, I leave it alone. What's nice about this, I can hit the play button and it'll run its own. Or I can click one by one candle at a time, and see how it's doing. So right there, I'm in the trade at that point, and now I'm going to let it play out. If it hits down here, I've lost. If it gets up here, I won. And I won 12%, or I will lose 10%. Now, if you notice, there's this little thing called risk and reward ratio. I generally don't make it a practice to get into a trade unless I can have a 3-to-1 ratio. And this will automatically calculate it for you. So if I see a 3 or better, that's when I would suggest, that's when I would generally be in it. Now it's up to you what you do, but that's how I have it. So I'm going to click play. So it plays on its own and see what happens. So it's down, 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 up. It's up and down. I haven't messed with it. It's back almost to the price that I got in. Uh-oh. Now I'm in the red. right? So right now I'm losing. I haven't gotten out of this trade. I'm actually still in the trade. So I'm going to let it play out and see if it's going to hit down here. Remember I told you I wasn't sure. Now I'm kind of thinking, I'm not so sure if I would have, if I'm going to win this, because now it needs to try to get up into this region. And the fact that it opened and it went down that far, it's a pretty good chance that it might try to hit this level. So let's see what happens, okay? You watch it live. Oh, push back up. It ran right through them, and I'm up and down, up and down. And again, you do the calculations if you want. Put your money in. Say you put in $1,000. Where would you be after each trade? Yes, we won. We won. We actually got there. So even though there was all these losses that potentially would have been losses, we didn't get stopped out. We didn't get knocked out of the trade. If it got down here first, we would have. Now that it's up here, we won. So now you can record this as a win, and that's a second way for you to do that. Now that replay button is only available for the paid versions of it. Okay. There is a third way that you can do a lot of these trades, and for that I'm going to separate it because this video is getting a little bit longer, where I'm going to be putting up a separate video that shows you how to still do this within TradingView. And then there's other ways that you can actually do it depending on which markets you're doing. For example, if you're doing a crypto market, there's what they call sandbox or testnet type of accounts where you can actually put in a trade. They give you fake money, you put in the trade, you actually practice that skill, and then from there you can get a better feel of how the system works so that you don't have to lose your money while you're figuring it all out. Okay, once you got it all clear, then you can decide, okay, I'm ready to go in. So, or not, whatever you end up doing. So the progression that we generally tend to do with our clients and with our students and with anybody who we help out is, first of all, practice on what we call paper trading. So this is a paper trade because we didn't actually put money in, but we saw and didn't hit the target. And do not veer from your strategy. There's only 3 steps that you need to be able to be really good at trading. Number 1, identify a strategy that you believe is going to work. Number 2, write it down. And number 3, stick to it like a robot. So do not change once you've got that trade. Let it play out on the upside or the downside. And then once you've done it enough times, you have enough data to be able to see how effective that trading strategy is. Okay, and if you stick to that 3-to-1 ratio, that's a really good thing. And we're not going to get into too depth about what that is. So back to our basic stuff, because I promised you that at the end I would share some of the other ways you can do that, which is test nets and sandbox accounts, and also in the regular stock markets, there's a lot of test net type of accounts where you can actually set up accounts where they give you fake money, and then you're able to test their system to put in fake trades and to be able to make fake money and see if you actually win or you lose. So if you like this video and you want to get some of those other tutorials, we'll be happy to share them with you as soon as they get onto the channel, and you'll know right away if you put that subscribe button and a like button. All right, have an awesome day and have fun.